What's going on, you guys? I'm chilling at the crib right now with my girl, basically the family, my girl, and my kids. So I'm just coming at you guys with the hype. First of all, custom field centers, my plug, basically business partner. You know, I told you guys about them and you guys were sleeping on them. Now you guys are gonna have to stop sleeping on them because I got them first and you did it. You didn't go to custom field centers, did you? You didn't take my advice. You didn't listen to me. That's what you get. Better listen next time. So I got my diviners. I'm able to practice with them. Now these are prismatic rare proxies. Now of course diviner is not legal, so you can't play them. But I needed diviner. I literally told you guys I will move to Japan if I have to. If this card is not coming to the TCG, I am moving to Japan because there's no way I'm not playing this. This is my favorite deck. Okay, so this is Herald Perfection. This is the list I've been testing for a while. There's just like nothing is ever set in stone with this deck. You guys have seen over 160 variations of this deck. My mind has built this deck over 160 different times. Each build is different from another. Each build has a different game plan. Aside from summoning Herald, there's just other things because as the meta defines, when Dracos are popping, I need to play an Abyss Dweller Turbo Herald. So I played instant fusions and a level 4 target so I can like normal Manju make Dwellers so they don't True Draco Apocalypse pop Herald. So you get what I'm saying? So my list also changed based on the meta, but this right here is just pure gas. Like, this is basically, you're gonna draw or you're gonna die. So you have to open draw, nothing else works. I even do the Forbidden Witch and the Condemned Witch and the Forbidden Lance to counter the Dark Roller. You just normal Condemned Witch, search Forbidden Lance, tribute her, summon the Barrier Statue on their standby, deactivate Dark Roller, chain Forbidden Lance, target your Herald or the Barrier Statue, whichever one you feel is more important. It's unaffected by Dark Roller no more. They can play another one, but it doesn't matter, and you get to play Yu-Gi-Oh! So that's the other way to counter it, but I'm gonna get into my list, you guys. So we get to play all the Heralds now. Like, these are some crazy Herald cards. So first of all, triple diviner. Basically, I told you guys need to get your proxies and your homemade cards from custom field centers. You need to get your field centers. Hold on, let me go ahead and make a little commercial for this dude because you guys are really sleeping on him, for real. And this man needs to eat, like, because he really does, like, he knows what he's doing. Let me show you guys the difference. Okay, you see this token, right? These are Dookie tokens. Let me show you this right here. This is a prismatic rare Herald of Perfection field center. Do you think I'm not playing this with my Herald? Are you crazy? I have all these Herald cards? Of course, and it's beautiful. Nobody else can make me prismatic secret rare field centers and tokens. So y'all tripping, he made me my Team Kings a game one. Y'all saw my Zephyr token. Look at the difference. He can, like, the quality, it's worth it. So you guys are seriously sleeping on custom field centers. Like, dude, if the Shadal support didn't come out, I was gonna have him make me fake Shadal cards. I made a video about Shadal support and stuff. Like, he can make you any custom cards you want. They don't even have to be real Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Y'all sleeping on them. But anyways, that's the end of the commercial. Back to what I was doing. Triple diviner. These are prismatic secret rare proxies. No, the card's not legal. Yes, I'm gonna get the real thing, but I want to test with it in real life. I don't like really online. I try my hardest to not do dueling nexus. This card is insane. This card is so good. Like, seriously, dude, I cannot believe this card even came out. I never thought that Herald was ever gonna get any more support, and we still have more support for the Herald archetype. This card's insane going first or second. So I showed you guys. So this is the other thing. I don't have to explain this in this video because if you guys follow my channel, I already did a Herald of Perfection combo tutorial with diviner, but I proxy diviner. So now we actually have it. This card is good going first or second. It outs floodgates. There can only be one. It can bait interruptions. It can just pop cards. It normally just snowballs out of control because you can summon the egg, use the egg to get the Machine Angel, tribute the Ben 10, draw 2, search your Eva, put your brick back to the bottom of your deck like if you drew Gale Dogger because that's not fairy. It just go off. Like, this card's just so nuts. Too many combos, synchro plays. This card actually lets you go explosive turn 1. Like, you can even normal it. Like, you have 2 spells in grave, you have Ritual Sanctuary, you can just normal it. Like, dump Eva, special Eva, link into the Herald of Mirages, get so much pluses, or dump Star Seraph Scepter, you know, special it, reviving Shuffle 4, like, you could send the Cyber Egg, Shuffle 2, summon it. You know, it's just like so many plays. Like, you can literally just, like, it's so crazy. Like, you can even just go Ritual Sanctuary, summon this, normal level 2, synchro into the actual Herald Arclight. You actually get to make this card now. So you, like, it's crazy. But one thing, you have to be careful because, like, it really says any card sent from the hand. I think it's right here, yeah. Hand or main deck, any monster Savannah main deck is banished instead. So Herald discards from hand to grave. So just be careful. Never make This Herald does not like being next to the real Herald, the OG, because he does not allow him to use his effect because it doesn't go to grave. So just be careful about that. But if you don't have a Herald and you just need that Macro Cosmos and Omni Negate, just know that this card can now be made, even though we're just mainly using it for the graveyard effect. That's just food for thought. So this card is just way too good. This card really took this deck to a completely different dimension. There are just way more combos that were never possible. Like, dude, I'm gonna start writing them down on paper because there's just way too much plays you can make off Diviner. Like, Diviner's sick. You open Diviner plus any ritual spell, you can ritual summon any level 6. You open Diviner plus any level 6 ritual monster, you can just ritual summon. Like, it's so free. This card's insane. The next best normal summon is going to be 3 Geldogras. Now, Geldogra, inherently, it generates more advantage by itself. So, in the terms of standalone cards, Geldogra is always going to be better than Diviner because Diviner requires an additional resource to be paired with it. Please hold it correctly, babe. It requires an additional resource to be paired with it. But Geldogra is like, you know, I always say this card's the god card. It seriously is crazy. Like, it can out 2 cards. I am doing a video, okay? I need you guys to stop. Kingston, come here, baby, okay?
Go out the room first of all.
Hold on, you guys. Sorry, my kid. Come here, Papa. Go in the room, okay? Go. Go in the room, okay? Go play in the room. Y'all can come out when I'm done, all right? Thank you.
Close the door.
Sorry about that, you guys. So anyways, yeah. Standalone, in the turn of just standalone, like if you draw this by itself, you can make plays. Even if you don't have any ritual cards, but you just happen to have like a level 4, like a Manju, you can still make plays. So the card, it's always going to be naturally a 1-card combo. It's insane. I showed you guys how much you can plus off this if you play incantations in your deck. It's just so good. Geldogra, I would never not play it. I know some people are on the fence, but hey, I'm not. 2 copies of Manju, my handy manny, helping hand. Even though Diviner is absolutely 1000% better than him, I still require my combo pieces, and taking out Manju actually decreases consistency in my deck. People have this thing where they think you have to play 40 cards to win, and they think that you have to play like 6 or less normal summons unless you're Brick. I don't follow the rules of the mundane society or Yu-Gi-Oh community. I do whatever I want to, and I believe I can play as many normal summons as I want. I don't care what anybody tells me, because if I open this and open these, what are these? Fairies. That's the other thing people forget. Any of your extra normal summons are discard fodder, so y'all tripping. I would still play at least 2 Manjus because it does unbreak your hand. Sometimes you just don't open a normal summon that's good enough. Like, you still need to open your standard ritual searchers. Like, these are your standalone summons. If the Star Seraphs didn't exist, I would just max out on all these. But you still have the Star Seraphs, so that hasn't changed. The deck is a lot more progressive with going second now, which is insane. With cards like Foolish Burial Goods and Diviner and Elder Entity Natis, which weren't out when this deck's inception hit and weren't out when these cards came out. Herald just slowly over time, like I told you guys, continues to get better as an archetype and as a deck as a whole. And it continues to be slept on, which I'm happy about. So we have 3 Scepters. We also have 3 copies of Sovereignty. The Staff and the Throne. Unfortunately, I do not have my Herald of Perfection mat. Otherwise, I would have put Herald and the Scepter. You already know I do it every profile, baby. But this is like his Staff and his Throne. And the other thing, we're getting into the ritual cards now. Obviously, I've explained this so many times, so I really feel like at this point, you guys should know. I've done like literally hundreds and hundreds of Herald deck profiles. I have, what, like 1,000 something videos literally on my channel, like 1,000 something videos, and I've done hundreds of videos alone on Herald. But at this point, these cards require no further explanation just because I've explained them hundreds of times, and that's no cap. And then we have this next package I'm playing is 2 copies of a Cyber Egg Angel. I really wanted to maximize on it, but I kind of like that flex spot for the Petite just because it can get a card that this card can't get. So you just get a little bit more utility out of your Eva, out of your Diviner, out of the combo pieces that get you these cards. You can net advantage follow-up plays when you go Eva, search these, pitch them, Ritual Sanctuary, revive them, get a plus, then normal, and get a link play. So it's really, really good. I enjoy these cards, but it would have just been 3 eggs, but honestly, I kind of like that one little flex spot. I might bump them, you know, because I'm still playing Desires, but when you don't Desires and you're in grind games, your Eva has so much value because this is an Eva target. That's the other beautiful thing about Diviner. You could search it off of Eva, which is insane. So even in weird convoluted ways, when you don't open Diviner, you can still search it. It's really, really good. And even on your turn, your opponent's turn, when you're negating cards, you use Eva to search your follow-up. So you're negating every card they activate and getting yourself a combo piece, which is insane. And this deck already searches for its searchers. This deck literally has searchers that search for searchers, that search for searchers that are searchable by other searchers that also can search draw cards. Like literally Ritual Sanctuary can conclude into a search, a draw, a rank 4, a link play, a synchro play. There's just too much utility in every card in this deck. It's really, really good. This deck, I've always been the hype man for Herald forever. Like, because it's really a good deck. It's very slept on. I don't think that this is a healthy meta contender, meaning that I don't think that a Herald format is ideal for anyone. I don't think anybody wants to play that. But that just goes to show how people talk trash about my deck, but they don't realize if my favorite deck was meta, nobody would want to play Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. They would just quit because it'd be just so annoying, because this deck really is annoying. Like, you could say it sucks, but nobody wants to play against it, and that's what I find so funny when people knock my deck. We have 2 copies of Eva. It's absolutely correct to play 2 now because you have so many targets. You actually do need the second one in your deck. It comes up a lot. I play tested so much with Diviner online. I even took my Lee World Chalice Fairies and made them proxy for Diviners because I was just fiending for it. It just comes up a lot. Sometimes you need to summon it from your deck off Diviner to make a Link Kariba or Link Play to trigger it on your turn. Sometimes you just need to dump it directly from your deck to your grave off Diviner's normal summon. It just depends. So you normally, because you use one for what it's intended for and another for a combo, it's just nice to play 2. You don't want to play 3 because this card is terrible to draw in your opening hand without sequential combo pieces to pair it with. So it's like a wand. You got to pair it with other cards. And then we have Arc Lord Christia. As you notice, I didn't show any of the rituals because I am still very embarrassed that I have not had a chance to get Heralds yet, so I do. Whew, it's hurting my balls. It's really, I have to proxy Heralds. Like, I have to proxy these Heralds, and I know it's terrible. This is a Herald profile, and you're proxying the main boss monster. I gave my Heralds away to my subs, and I never had a chance to replace them yet. The chance I did have was at this past YCS Las Vegas, but I was just so busy with other stuff, and I was focused on trying to win and everything, so I just didn't really go around looking like, hey, does anybody have Heralds? But I'm going to get them as soon as possible so that the next profile has Heralds. But these, I'm showing the ritual cards last because it's just like, you guys, these really needed to be shown, because this really, if you notice every Herald of Perfection deck profile, these ratios never change. I'm always playing 3 Heralds. I'm always playing 3 copies of Princess Katana because she is absolutely necessary. Now, even with Diviner being out and you having another way, a very consistent and a comfortable way to summon Herald, you still must maximize on Bintin. I can show you guys really cool combos. So basically now, when you have plays where you have a Diviner, let's say you have Diviner, Bintin, and Herald, you know, Diviner, you know, dump Arc, search Dawn, you still want to tribute this from your hand and not the Bintin. And I'll tell you why. You tribute this for Herald so you can add it back, first of all, so you have it for your next turn. Secondly, it's going to summon a Petite Egg, the Cyber Egg, and the egg's going to search the Machine Angel ritual. Then you can tribute her, draw 2, put 1 back, trigger her effect, search for Eva, and you have, I guarantee you, 7 plus negates. I've ended on 6 fairies in hand, one of them being Eva, which means I actually have 8 negates for Spell Trapper Monster. You only get 6 cards in hand, so if you do not have Dark Ruler no more, or some magical, you know, wombo combo of just you opening Godly and having like, you know, triple dark, I don't know, just some unrealistic way, that's the only way, because you can't bait 8 negates with 6 cards. So it's literally impossible to win against this deck unless you draw your side deck cards. So game 1, I go first. Unless you're like main decking Dark Ruler no more, because I don't main deck a counter, you really just, it's going to be very difficult. Because this deck consistently ends on Herald Christia, even in ways where you could just leave only Herald and Christia, so you can't even be Lava Golem, Spear Moded, Kaiju. You literally, they have to have Dark Ruler no more. Like, it's crazy. Mystic Mind, I can negate the activation of it. People forget that. So Mystic Mind doesn't work against this deck. Also, this deck doesn't lose to Nibiru. It doesn't lose to Ash. Drone Lockbird was the only hand trap I ever had fear of. When Colossus got banned, I was so happy. I was leaping for joy. Then everybody wants to play Drone in their deck, and I'm like, wow, another challenge arises. Here we go again. So that's it for the monsters. Now we're going to get into the spells. These are Proxy Heralds. Remember that. We have 3 copies of Las Vegas. Everybody wants to get married in Vegas. I nicknamed this card that years and years ago when it first came out with the first wave of Cyber Angel support that really did boost the Herald deck, because Herald wasn't necessarily a good archetype back in the day. We really just had the orange, purple, you know, the colored light level 2 ones, and then Herald himself. Ultimateness came out a little later, but Herald as a deck just never really got support. It got indirect support through this. Incantations, Cyber Angels, the Petites, you know, the Star Seraphs, the Pre-Preps, Prep coming back to 3, Diviners now, in finally direct support. This is indirect support. You know, Pot of Desires coming out gives the deck a boost. This coming, like, every card, basically, every one of my spells, literally, actually, that's what's crazy. Basically, every one of my spells that's not Donna the Herald, literally all came out later. Because remember, I'm an OG Herald player. I've been playing it since, I don't think anybody's been playing this deck longer than me. The only way, it's only possible for you to have been playing this deck as long as me, because I've been playing it since it came out. So there's no way possible anybody on the face of the planet on TCG, not in Japan, out here in North America, was playing Herald longer than me. You have to either have been playing it for the same exact amount of time as me or less. nobody's been playing it longer than me because I've been playing it since it came out and I never stopped. I am literally the mastermind for this deck, and that's not even like a bragging thing. It's serious. Like, people say this all the time. I am the Herald go-to guy. This card's insane. It actually has the most longevity of all your spells. And like, I just really want to point that out to show you guys what I say. I always say that in a video for a reason. This deck continues to get better and better, and none of these are Herald cards. This is new support. You know, this is old, but it was at 1 and it came out to 3, so there's a boost. This is new. You know, this was fairly new. I'm saying these cards are new because when I was playing Herald back in the day, I had Sonic Birds, Monjuice, and Sinju's, Advanced Ritual Arts, Aratamas, or what's her name? I forget her name. The level 6 Vanilla. It was just terrible. But over time, just me being faithful to this deck, I got rewarded for not stopping it. Like, for example, you should all players, y'all probably gave up when Construct got banned. I'm not that kind of player. If I love a deck, I'm going to play it no matter what. But continue with the spells. Like I said, this has the most longevity. And it actually, even though some spells get you more advantage initially on activation, because this remains on the field, it proliferates way more. Like, you can get more pluses off of this. Because even if you're not using the discard for cost effect, the graveyard effect, shuffling your spells, is good for you to grind because you don't run low on resources. Certain spells, you want to put them back so you can draw them or search them again. Because, for example, this is actually searchable. Like, these are actually searchable. So these are the best targets you want to put back so that you keep your combo pieces and live targets so you can validly research, validly resolve, certain searches. And this also really helps to play around like the Solemn Strike issue. Like, if I'm playing on my turn and my opponent Solemn Strikes my Herald, I can use this to revive it, and then they just wasted 1,500 life points. So it's really good. Continue with the spells. My favorite spell in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Since it came out, it took over. Like, there's no better spell, period. It's Pre-Preparation of Rites. Frightful Patchwork is literally, I feel, a replica, a copycat version of this. This card, if you don't play rituals, think of this as the Patchwork of rituals. This card searches a ritual spell and the monster whose name is specifically listed on it from your deck or your graveyard to your hand. This card is very insane. As a Herald player, managing your resources also pairs with you making sure that you do not ever resolve the 3rd Dawn to banish. You only banish 2. You always want to keep 1 in the grave so you can keep looping it off Sanctuary and keep reshuffling your pre-preps so that you have infinite grind game, because this adds Herald from grave to hand. So as long as you have a Dawn in deck, you'll never run out of Heralds. So you can even, if you need to, use Cypher and Little Omega to target a one that was banished face down off of Desires, put it back in your graveyard, use Sanctuary to shuffle it, and then your pre-preps live. And as long as you keep using Sanctuary to shuffle pre-preps back into your deck, you're going to keep drawing them because you have a lot of draw power. So this deck has a self-replacing engine where you never ever actually deck out unless you Desires all 3 of these. Then you don't have that grind game, but that doesn't happen. We have 3 copies of Preparation of Rites. The card is a lot more flexible going second. Because this deck's best spell is Dawn, a competent player would save their negation for Dawn. So if they have 1 or 2 spell trap negations, it can be very easy to bait those, and then you could just activate this and get the Dawn that they negated with, for example, Dawn Dragster, or whatever they used to negate it. It doesn't really matter, as long as it wasn't Mechabud, obviously, and then you just add it from grave to hand and you get your plus. So it's really good. It's more flexible going second, and it's always going to be a +1 based on how you use it. So I just really like it, but this is still my favorite, obviously. Continuing, I do play 3 extra Foolish Burials. I'm very ballsy with this deck. I pay a lot of life points to resolve my effects. But I've told people so many times, if a spell card said pay 7,999 life points to win the duel, would you play it? She said, I'll be there in 25 minutes. All right. I should be done with the video by then. And my answer to that question, I'm going to answer that question for you, is yes, 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 yes. Because it doesn't matter. As long as you have life points, you're still in the game. And if your opponent can't play Yu-Gi-Oh!, I don't care. Like, somehow people pay the Strudo, right? They pay half of their life points to make some crazy board that still isn't even as good as my boards. So I can tell you so many reasons that validate and justify me playing this, and there's no reason to not play it, period. I don't even set back row, so there's no drawback with this card. I literally, the only time you need to set is if you really just want to pop a card with your Star Seraph combo to get a draw if your hand's that terrible. And then for draw spells, because those were like a bunch of searches, that's why I'm saying you have to have draw. Because this deck is literally like every card's ash bait. Again, you don't know what to ash because everything's good. This deck doesn't really play like bad cards. All these cards are really insane, especially the spell lineup. But anyways, so yeah, triple Desires. Desires is the best draw spell in the deck because it requires no other valid targets in hand. You can just activate it right off the gate. But then in regards to the observatories, it is a little bit, I guess you can't really say it's convoluted because this deck plays a lot of the targets and they are very easy to search. That's why I max out on it. One thing that is a benefit that it does send from the field. So like when you play incantations, there's a plus that you can get. or you could use Talismandra to search and then put it back into your deck and draw 2, so you can plus. But right now I'm basically using it to make sure that I always keep my Benton at least 1, so it's really nice that it puts it to the deck and not the grave, so that you can keep your resources that way. The card's just insane. It draws 2. You break even, you don't plus, but drawing in this deck, every card's good, so you're always going to lead into either another searcher, another draw, you know, another combo piece. And then I finally play, for the rest of the draw spells, I play 8 draw spells, no upstart, just 2 mercifuls. I want to play multiples in the important cards because I do play 3 desires, and I'm not going to cut desires to any less. And desires is really important in this deck. You play so many 3-ofs, you can search for infinity, really. Like this deck, you will be surprised. This deck will spend like 10 minutes just searching, and you haven't even started like special summoning or comboing off yet. So this deck can have very long turns, just like pendulums and combo decks. So it can be very annoying for people, which I love, but like the point is you can search so much before you resolve desires. I have had hands where I literally searched everything, summoned Herald of Perfection, did my Star Seraph combo, and then played desires and then passed just to see if I can net more fairies. But I basically got Chrysia, everything I needed, and activated it as the last card. So when you don't actually need to activate this, I recommend you go ahead and play out your hand, get the combo pieces you need, and make this the final card you play so you can net the last bit of fairies that you need so you can negate their whole hand. Because what you want to do is make sure you keep a couple fairies for yourself, and the ones you want to keep are the normal summonable ones, so you can get field advantage and keep generating card economy that way. So you want to keep cards like Manju, the Star Seraphs, and the Diviners. And then the final spell is the best spell, 3 Dawns. The reason why I cut the incantations and the Saphira was for this list, I want it to be clean cut, and those cards are incredible. I have my reasons, and you know how I go back and forth on it. So it's not that they're bad, and it's not that I'm not successful with them. It's ultimately, I just wanted everything to just give me exactly where I needed to be. The incantations are not fairies, which is something, again, that I've had issues with. And now with the list, because I am actually trying to kind of turbo into my extra deck a lot more, they do have a conflicting thing. So I'm still on the fence. If I do try incantations again, it's going to be like more of a 2 Chalice Slime, 2 Dolls, and then 2 Talismandra, and just keep it 6 cards and keep it that way. But I'm still on the fence. I like this list better, but getting to the extra deck, we play 3 copies of Herald of Arclight. You burn through these very quickly, that's why I played 3. Even when you open Gale Dogger and Extra Foolish Burial, yes, I do activate both of them, and I pay until I have 1,000 life points. And I drop Linkuriboh, Chrysia, Herald, you know, just like game 1, you can play boards that don't get spear moded, because who's main deck in spear mode? If you main deck in spear mode, good for you. So game 1, you can really just, you don't have to play around certain cards. Like game 1, I don't play around, you know, spear mode, and this deck doesn't loosen the beer anyways. So you can really just like pretty much establish a Linkuriboh, a Herald, and a Chrysia, so they can't just like get a free poke at your life points. And then we have 1 Coral Dragon. This deck can synchro summon because Diviner's a tuner. You can also play Herald of the Orange Light. I experimented with that card as well. 1 Cypher Lord Omega. Shout outs to my homie, my dog, Matt, bro. I don't want to say your full name because I don't know if you want people to know who you are. But bro, some of my subs, and I mean some because it's like a very small percentage and I love them and I rock with them. They're the ones who got my Herald of Perfections, by the way. Some of my subs really do support me. I'm talking about directly. Like they support the quality of my videos and contribute cards for my videos. Those are the subs that I really appreciate the most because they make it easier for me versus adding to my to-do list, adding all these requests and stuff. And I don't mind giving you what you asked for, but I really appreciate you, Matt. So I really want to shout you out because this is one of many cards he sent me to help me out. And Omega's very imperative because this deck not only can make him, which is really, really important because sometimes Desires banishes a Dawn or 2 and you need Omega because he reacts with face downs. You need Omega to either put back the Dawn or sometimes you just banish 3 of everything and you just need to target that spell, return it to the grave, and then Ritual Sanctuary. And this is always going to be paired with Sanctuary. No matter if you send a spell or a monster, this can get them both back. You send a spell, okay, shuffle it back. You target a banished Eva, send it face down banished, you know, put it, return it to the grave. It won't get its effect because it's being returned, not sent, but you can use Ritual Sanctuary, shuffle 1 spell, summon it, Linkuriboh, bam, plus. So it's really, really good to make this card, and it's very, very easy to make it. Very, very, very easy. Like crazy good. And also, it's an extra deck target for you to dump so that you can just put your stuff back, whatever you need to just recycle. So this card just keeps you in the grind. It's easier to make than Daigusto Emerald, so I just kind of just, it was like a flex spot. It could have been anything. I'm not playing Zokin and Crystal Wing anymore because those are just win more. No more Apollousa, no more Gamma Seal. Just flat out Herald. He's the best boss monster into it. Anyways, I flipped the other math mech. It was just like in the process of me trying to get this new place for my family, and it was some of the stuff that I had to flip, but I took the Satellarknight, Deltaros, and Ouroboros out and put them, swap them for both the Math Mech rank 4s because they actually are superior in a lot of ways that matter for me. Deltaros has a certain protection and Orboros has a different kind of effect, so they can be better in niche interactions, but as far as like just dominating the meta, the Math Knights are just superior in that regard. I do play Dweller since I didn't have the other Math Knight, like it was just another good rank 4. So there's still certain cards I don't have, but I'm almost there. I'm really almost there. Now we're getting to the links, and Dweller's still important. Dracos are around. And also chain blocking, you know, this deck can lose to chain blocking. Like if you play BA and they summon Dante, like let's say you don't have Christia, you want a Dweller because if they, you know, mill detach, you know, mill 3 for cost, and they mill like a Farfa and another card to chain block. Farfa could be chain link 1 and Herald gets banished, so I can't stop it. So I play around the worst case scenario sometimes, so I just really want to keep Dweller in there. Now the links are going to be Link Creeble, very important, because now you're summoning Eva like crazy. In your Once this is gone, you use Ritual Sanctuary, shuffle 1, summon Eva anytime you want, tribute Eva from the field, summon this to negate attack, trigger Eva to plus on your opponent's turn. So this card actually makes Eva very loopy, and you plus very hard off Eva, just looping it on your opponent's turn, triggering it over and over. And you only need 1 spell with this. So this paired with Eva is just like a self-replacing engine that gets you a +2 to 3 every turn, plus the cards you draw. And you get it on your turn and your opponent's turn. So you get your opponent's turn, Eva, and then Eva go back to grave, then your turn, Eva again. So you get like 4 fairies over the course of like an entire span of turns. And then Mirages, this is the new Herald Link. This is another card that, again, Custom Field Centers did for me. He made these cards, like he made prismatic rare versions of them. And there, check this out too. They're Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like this dude really knows his stuff, okay? So this card is very disappointing because it really should have had so much more in context, and it really, every effect could have been different. I don't like any effect on this except for the fact that it can negate something that Herald cannot negate. That is the sheer simplicity and the reason why I'm playing this card. It can negate cards that are already activated on the field and graveyard effects like Apocalypse to target Herald, and Herald can't negate those. So it protects Herald from cards that he can't stop himself. That's the only reason why I play it. If you ever get to plus off of its destruction effect, thank you, you are golden. But this card only really comes up for those. But I also just love the beautiful card, and it's a Herald card, and it's my favorite deck. Then we play Hip, a superior Link too. Cross Sheep is so good in this deck. You guys are asleep. Cross Sheep's best effect is the Ritual effect. Check this out. Draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. By the time I make Cross Sheep, I have Eva in my hand. So I draw 2, discard 2, Eva effect, search 2. +4, baby. +4, baby. And then activate Desires. Goodness gracious, this card is so good in this deck. Like, it's crazy. Seriously. Abomination, because it's crazy good. I was going to play the Boros, but honestly, this card felt more niches for me. And grinding out back rows, this card can really, like, if you, sometimes you're playing certain back row decks and you just don't want to attempt Herald because they can, like, bait you into a strike. You just want to use this to get rid of them. And if they strike this, at least you keep your Herald. So it's just, like, certain situations where it's just way better. And then also I play Trishbania because the same thing. This deck's great against combo decks, but back rows, like anti-spell, you know, stuff like that, it just can hurt sometimes. And this deck's very explosive. It can actually link spam. And it's able to make cards like these with very easily. If you brick, obviously that's a different story, but this deck just is super consistent. I personally believe this is the most consistent deck on the face of the planet. There's no deck that has more like search, draw, power, period. It's got everything. That's the deck profile. Combos have already been shown. If you guys want to learn more about the deck, I will be piloting this with Diviners until it comes out. So I will be, this is me, like right now, like Diviners, when Diviners legal, I'm going right back to my babies. Because with Colossus being banned, that was my biggest issue. I played Heralds, I've topped with them plenty of times. I even topped when Thunder was legal. I topped with Heralds already, but Thunder was always my worst matchup. So whenever I played Herald, I had to side so much just for that matchup that I wouldn't be able to side for other decks. So it really took away the strength of my side decking. And with Colossus being banned, I was like, yes, I really can like comfortably play Heralds again. Now everybody's maining Droll, but we'll figure it out. I might just end up either siding or maining Callbys or Interfusions with Millennium Eyes probably. But, you know, right now, this list is fire. I really love it. Thank you guys so much for watching it. Next up, not right now, but next up sometime later today or maybe tomorrow, I don't know because I got stuff to do now. Galaxy Eyes with Afterglow, and also one of the other newer cards that haven't came out yet is Galaxy Rebirth. So again, my plug is just like, you guys are sleeping on Custom Field Centers. Like seriously, like dude, you guys are sleeping on them. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Peace out, baby. Make good choices, don't hurt your brain cells. Deuces is wild.